What happens when a billionaire throws away true love for someone who seemed perfect? This man thought he knew what he wanted, until he lost everything that mattered. The ending will shock you. Desmond had it all: billions of dollars, a beautiful fiancée who loved him since college, and a perfect life. But sometimes, the grass looks greener on the other side. When a mysterious maid entered his home, everything changed. This is the story of how one terrible choice led to the most unexpected ending. Before we dive into today's gripping story, we want to take a moment to appreciate you, our amazing subscribers, new viewers, and the incredible community that makes Moonlight Tales by Samzy so special. Your likes, shares, and thoughtful comments mean the world to us, and we're beyond grateful for your support. If this is your first time here, welcome. You're in for a ride filled with drama, suspense, and unexpected twists. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest stories. And of course, drop a comment below. We love hearing from you, and your support keeps us going. Now, sit back, relax, and let's dive right back into the story, because things are about to get even more intense. The music building looked like a castle made of red bricks. It had big windows that sparkled in the evening light. Desmond could hear piano music and singing voices coming from inside. The sounds made him feel warm and happy, like drinking hot chocolate on a cold day. He pushed open the heavy wooden door. It made a loud creaking sound, like an old door in a scary movie. The hallway smelled like old books and wood polish. Pictures of famous musicians hung on the walls, watching him with their painted eyes. Desmond walked down the long hallway, but just as he pulled the door open, something amazing and terrible happened at the same time. Crash! A girl came flying out of the room like she was running away from a monster. She bumped right into Desmond's chest. Her books went flying everywhere like butterflies. Her pretty pink handbag fell to the floor with a loud thud. And her shiny phone went sliding across the floor like it was ice skating. "Oh no," Desmond said, his heart jumping like a scared rabbit. The girl had the most beautiful face he had ever seen. Her skin was smooth like chocolate milk. Her eyes were big and round like a doll's eyes, but they were filled with fire and anger. Her hair was long and curly, bouncing around her shoulders like springs. But she was not happy. Not happy at all. "Don't you have eyes?" she shouted at him. Her voice was loud and sharp, like a teacher when students are being naughty. "Are you blind or something?" Desmond's face turned red like a tomato. He felt so embarrassed that he wanted to disappear into the floor. The girl rushed to her phone and picked it up with careful hands, like it was made of glass. She turned it over and over, checking every inch. Her face was worried and scared. Desmond watched her examine the phone, and his stomach felt sick. "Please don't be broken. Please don't be broken," he whispered to himself like a prayer. The girl held the phone up to the light, looking for cracks. She pressed the buttons to make sure they still worked. She even shook it gently next to her ear to listen for broken pieces inside. The phone was okay. No cracks, no broken parts, no problems at all. She made a sound like HMPH and put the phone back in her handbag. Then she walked away without saying another word, her high heels clicking on the floor like a clock ticking. That night, Desmond lay in his small bed, staring at the ceiling. He couldn't sleep because every time he closed his eyes, he saw her beautiful angry face and heard her voice saying, "Don't you have eyes?" For the first time in his life, Desmond had felt something special when he looked at a girl. It was like lightning had struck his heart. Even though she was mean to him, even though she seemed rich and he was poor, something inside him wanted to know more about her. He didn't know her name. He didn't know if he would ever see her again. But one thing was sure, he would never forget the girl who crashed into his life and made his heart beat like crazy. "Tomorrow," he whispered to himself, "maybe tomorrow I'll see her again." The big day had finally come. Desmond's hands felt sweaty as he walked toward the music hall. His friend Liam had been talking about this show for weeks. Today, real music stars would come to watch the students sing. They would pick the best ones. "You better come watch me today," Liam had said that morning. "This is my big chance." Desmond smiled, thinking about his friend. Liam always got so excited about music. But deep down, Desmond hoped he might see that beautiful girl again. The one who got mad at him for bumping into her. The one with the pretty eyes and the angry voice. The music hall was huge. It had red seats everywhere, going up and up like stairs. Big lights hung from the ceiling like giant stars. Desmond had never seen so many people in one place before. Students filled every seat. Some were laughing. Some were nervous. Everyone was talking at once. "Wow," Desmond whispered to himself. His voice got lost in all the noise. "Welcome to our big music show," the teacher said into a microphone. "Today, our best students will sing for you. Let's see who has what it takes to be a real star." The crowd cheered and clapped. Desmond clapped too, but his hands felt cold. The first group came on stage. 5 students with guitars. They sang a happy song about friendship. The judges wrote notes on their papers. They didn't look impressed. Then another group sang. Then another. Some were good. Some made mistakes. One boy's voice cracked in the middle of his song. His face turned red. The judges shook their heads. Desmond started to feel bored. Where was Liam? When would his friend's turn come? Finally, the teacher called out, "Next up, Liam's group." Desmond sat up straight. His friend walked onto the stage carrying his guitar. Liam looked nervous but happy. He waved at the crowd. Then he started tuning his guitar strings. But wait. Someone else was walking onto the stage. A girl in a simple blue dress. She had long, dark hair that caught the light. She walked with confidence, like she owned the whole place. Desmond's mouth fell open. His heart stopped beating for a second. It was her. The angry girl from the music room. The one who yelled at him about her phone. "No way," he whispered. "She's in Liam's group." Liam started playing his guitar. The music was soft and beautiful. It filled the whole hall like warm honey. Then she opened her mouth and sang. The world stopped. Her voice was like magic. It was soft like a whisper, but strong like thunder. It made Desmond think of rain on flowers. It made him think of his mother's lullabies when he was little. It made his chest feel tight and warm at the same time. Everyone in the hall forgot to breathe. The talking stopped. The moving stopped. Even the judges looked surprised. The woman with silver hair leaned forward. The man with the beard put down his pen. The young judge with red lips actually smiled. When the song ended, silence filled the hall for 3 long seconds. Then everyone exploded into clapping and cheering. People stood up. They whistled. They shouted more. More. The judges were clapping too. The silver-haired woman was nodding. The man with the beard was smiling big. The young judge was writing fast on her paper. But Desmond wasn't clapping. He was staring at the girl on stage. This was the same girl who had been mean to him. The same girl who worried about her phone. But now, seeing her sing, he understood something. She wasn't just pretty. She wasn't just talented. She was extraordinary. "That's the girl I bumped into," he whispered to himself. "That's the girl who yelled at me. And she's amazing." As she walked off the stage with Liam, she looked out at the crowd. For just a moment, her eyes found Desmond's. She didn't smile. She didn't wave. But something passed between them. Something that made Desmond's stomach flip. He knew, right then and there, that his life had just changed forever. The girl with the angry voice and the beautiful songs had stolen his heart completely. And he didn't even know her name yet. The next day, she did something unexpected. She sat next to him at lunch. "I brought extra food," she lied. She had actually bought 2 lunches. "Want some?" Desmond's eyes grew wide. "Are you sure?" "Just eat it before I change my mind," Kira said, trying to sound mean. But her voice was soft. From that day, they started talking more. Little conversations that grew bigger each time. "Why do you work so hard?" Kira asked one day. "My parents are poor," Desmond said honestly. "My dad sells vegetables on the street. My mom washes clothes for other people. I want to help them have a better life." Kira's heart felt heavy. She had never met someone who worked so hard for his family. "What about your dreams?" she asked. "My dream is to be successful enough to buy my parents a real house," Desmond said with bright eyes. "With a big kitchen for my mom and a garden for my dad." Kira smiled for the first time since they met. A real, beautiful smile. "That's a good dream," she said. "What about you?" Desmond asked. "What's your dream?" Kira's smile disappeared like a candle being blown out. "My parents want me to be an accountant. Like you. But I hate numbers. I love music." "So why don't you do music?" Desmond asked. "Because they'll stop paying for my school. They'll be angry. They already think I'm a disappointment for coming to this cheap university." Desmond was quiet for a long time and they smiled to each other after that day. Their love grew stronger each day. After college, Desmond and Kira's love grew even stronger. They were like two trees growing together, their roots deep and their branches reaching for the same sky. Kira's father, Mr. St. James, was a very rich man who owned many big companies. At first, he wasn't sure about Desmond. "This young man loves my daughter," he thought, "but can he take care of her?" Mr. St. James decided to test Desmond. He gave him a job managing one of his biggest stores. "Let's see what this boy can do," he said to his wife. Desmond worked harder than anyone had ever seen. He came to work early when the sun was still sleeping. He stayed late when the stars came out to play. He treated every customer like they were his best friend. He counted every penny like it was made of gold. Soon, something amazing happened. The store started making more money than ever before. Customers loved shopping there because Desmond made sure everyone was happy. Other store owners came to ask, "How did you do it?" Mr. St. James watched quietly from far away. He saw how Desmond never lied, never cheated, and never gave up. One evening at dinner, he raised his wine glass high. "You're not just good for Kira, son," he said with a big smile. "You're good for all of us." But Desmond had bigger dreams dancing in his head. He saved every dollar like a squirrel saves nuts for winter. Then he opened his own small business. It was scary at first, like jumping off a cliff and hoping you could fly. His business grew and grew. Soon he had shopping malls where families went to buy toys and clothes. He had banks where people kept their money safe. He had factories that made things people needed. Money flowed to him like rivers flow to the ocean. In just a few years, Desmond became incredibly rich, so rich that people called him a billionaire. While Desmond built his business kingdom, Kira's voice was flying around the world like a beautiful bird. She sang in huge places called arenas where thousands of people came to listen. Her face appeared on big signs in London, Tokyo, and cities far away. When she sang, people cried happy tears. When she finished, they clapped so loud it sounded like thunder. Then came the most magical day. Desmond took Kira to a beautiful beach in Seychelles where the water was blue like sapphires and the sand was white like sugar. As the sun painted the sky orange and pink, he got down on one knee. "Kira," he said, his voice shaking like a leaf in the wind, "will you marry me?" She said yes so fast that the seagulls jumped with surprise. They kissed as the waves danced around their feet. But there was one funny problem that followed them everywhere. Kira still couldn't cook anything without making a mess. "I don't understand," she said, almost crying. "I can sing beautiful songs that make people cry, but I can't even cook eggs without burning the pan." Desmond wrapped his arms around her waist and pulled her close. His eyes twinkled with love and laughter. "Because, my sweet love," he whispered in her ear, "you were born to set stages on fire, not stoves." They laughed until their stomachs hurt. Then they ordered pizza and ate it on their balcony, watching the Eiffel Tower sparkle in the night. Every burned meal became a happy memory. Every kitchen disaster became a funny story they told their friends. Love, they learned, isn't about perfect cooking. It's about loving someone even when they turn the kitchen into a war zone. Their love was like a strong castle that nothing could break. Or so they thought. Stella looked at her empty bank account on her computer screen. "Only $50 left," she whispered to herself. Her fancy car was about to be taken away. Her beautiful apartment rent was 3 months late. Everything she worked for was falling apart. Stella used to be happy and successful. She had the best cooking school in the city. Rich people sent their children to learn from her. But then other schools opened. They charged less money. Her students left one by one. Now she was almost broke. Her phone rang. It was her assistant, Mary. "Boss, we got a job offer," Mary said. "A very rich man needs a cook and house cleaner. The pay is amazing, $5,000 every month." Stella's eyes got big. $5,000? That was more money than she made in 3 months now. "Tell me more," she said quickly. Mary read from her notes. "The client's name is Mr. Desmond Johnson. He lives in a huge mansion. He needs someone to cook, clean, and take care of his house. His fiancée travels a lot for work." Vera dropped her phone. Her hands shook as she picked up the phone. "Mary, send me all the information about this job right now." When the email came, Stella opened it fast. There was a picture of the client. But then she read more carefully. He wasn't married yet. He was only engaged. Engaged meant he wasn't married yet. That meant Stella still had a chance cause he was rich, and Stella was desperate for marriage cause she was getting older. A slow, sneaky smile spread across her face. This was perfect. Better than perfect. Mr. Desmond needed a cook, and Stella was an amazing cook. He would see her every day. He would taste her delicious food. He would remember how much better she was than his fiancée. She called Mary back. "I'm taking this job myself. Don't send anyone else. And tell them my name is Stella." The next morning, Stella packed her bags. She put on simple clothes and pulled her hair back neatly. She sprayed her favorite flower perfume, the same one she wore in college. Then she drove to Desmond's mansion. As she stood at the big front door, her heart beat fast with excitement. She promised herself not to lose. When Desmond's mom and sisters came to visiting, they had no idea they were walking into Stella's trap. Stella had been planning this day for weeks. She woke up extra early that morning. She cooked the most amazing breakfast, fluffy pancakes, crispy bacon, and fresh orange juice. The whole house smelled like heaven. "Good morning, Mrs. Kate," Stella said with her sweetest smile when she opened the door. She wore a simple blue dress and had flowers in her hair. "Welcome to your son's home." Mrs. Kate was shocked. The house was so clean it sparkled. Everything was perfect. Even the flowers on the table were arranged beautifully. "Oh my goodness," Mrs. Kate whispered to her daughter Serena. "This girl is amazing." During breakfast, Stella served them like they were kings and queens. She brought warm towels for their hands. She made sure their coffee was always hot. She even gave Mrs. Kate a foot massage while they talked. "You're such a blessing to my son," Mrs. Kate said, patting Vera's hand. "He's so lucky to have you taking care of him." Stella smiled, but inside she was dancing with joy. Her plan was working perfectly. Then something bad happened. Mrs. Kate started saying mean things about Kira. "Where is that girl anyway?" Mrs. Kate asked, looking around. "Shouldn't she be here helping?" "Oh, Miss Kira is very busy with her singing," Stella said, pretending to be nice. But then she added quietly, "She's never really home much. Poor Mr. Desmond eats alone most nights." This wasn't true, but Mrs. Kate believed it. "That's terrible," Mrs. Kate said, getting angry. A woman should take care of her man. When Kira finally came home 3 days later, she could feel something was wrong. The air felt cold and uncomfortable. Mrs. Kate barely looked at her. At dinner, the mean comments started. "Stella's cooking is so delicious," Mrs. Kate said loudly. "Too bad you can't make food like this, Kira." Kira's face turned red with embarrassment. She tried to smile. "Yes, Stella is very talented. A woman who can't cook can't take care of a family," Mrs. Kate continued. "What will happen when you have children?" Desmond said nothing. He just kept eating quietly. This hurt Kira more than his mother's words. Later that night, Kira tried to talk to Desmond. "Your mom is being very mean to me," she said softly. "Why didn't you help me?" "She's just worried about me," Desmond replied, not looking at her. "But I'm your fiancé. You should protect me." "Maybe she has a point," Desmond said. "You're never here anymore. Stella takes better care of this house than you do." Kira's heart broke into pieces. "I work hard for my music career, just like you work hard for your business," But Desmond was already walking away. Every day after that, Mrs. Kate filled Desmond's head with poison words. Stella would make such a good wife, she would say. She's humble and caring. Not like that other girl who thinks she's too good for housework. Vera played her part perfectly. She would stay late to make Desmond tea. She would iron his shirts without being asked. She would laugh at all his jokes and listen to his problems. You work so hard, Stella would tell him. You deserve someone who appreciates you. Meanwhile, when Kira came home tired from her concerts, she found a cold house and a distant fiancé. They started fighting about everything, small things that never mattered before. The final fight happened on a rainy Tuesday night. Kira had been away for 2 weeks performing in different cities. She came home exhausted, hoping for a warm hug from the man she loved. Instead, she found Desmond sitting in the dark. "We need to talk," he said coldly. "What's wrong?" Kira asked, her heart already knowing the answer. "This isn't working anymore," Desmond said. "You're never here. You don't take care of our home. You don't even try to fit in with my family." Tears filled Kira's eyes. "I love you, Desmond. I've loved you since college. Love isn't enough," he said, standing up. "I need someone who will be here for me. Someone who understands what a real home means." "You're choosing your maid over me?" Kira asked, her voice breaking. "I'm choosing peace," Desmond replied. And just like that, their beautiful love story was destroyed. Vera had won. Mrs. Kate had gotten her way. And Desmond had made the biggest mistake of his life. But sometimes, when we make terrible choices, life has a way of teaching us very painful lessons. The trouble started on a rainy Tuesday morning. Desmond was drinking his coffee when his phone rang. It was his business partner, and his voice sounded scared. "Desmond, we have a big problem," the man said. "Someone put fake papers in our bank files. The police think we stole money from people." Desmond's coffee cup fell from his hands. It broke into tiny pieces on the kitchen floor, just like his life was about to break. "But we didn't steal anything," Desmond said, his heart beating fast. "I know that. You know that. But the newspapers don't care about the truth," his partner replied sadly. Within hours, the news was everywhere. TV reporters stood outside Desmond's businesses. They said mean things about him. People who used to smile at him now looked angry. His customers stopped coming to his stores. His friends stopped calling. Stella watched the news from the kitchen. She bit her lip and looked worried. But deep inside, she was thinking about all the money Desmond had. She wondered if she could take some before things got worse. "Don't worry, my love," she told Desmond, rubbing his shoulders. "We'll get through this together." But her words felt cold, like touching ice. Days passed. More businesses closed. Desmond had to fire many workers. He felt terrible seeing their sad faces. These people had families to feed, just like he once did when he was poor. Desmond was driving home from a meeting with angry business owners. They wanted their money back. They shouted at him and called him a thief. Rain was falling hard on his car windows. He couldn't see the road very well. Then it happened. Another car came from nowhere. Crash. Everything went black. When Desmond woke up, bright hospital lights hurt his eyes. A doctor in a white coat was standing next to his bed. Vera was there too, but she looked pale and scared. "Mr. Desmond," the doctor said gently, "I have some difficult news. The accident hurt your back very badly. You won't be able to walk for a long time. Maybe never." The words hit Desmond like another car crash. He tried to move his legs under the white hospital blanket. Nothing happened. He couldn't feel anything below his waist. "No, no, no," he whispered, tears falling down his cheeks. "This can't be real." Stella's face changed when she heard the news. The fake smile she always wore disappeared. Her eyes looked different now, cold and calculating, like a snake looking at a mouse. At home, everything was different. Desmond sat in a wheelchair, trying to reach things on high shelves. Simple things like getting dressed took forever. Taking a shower was almost impossible. He felt helpless and embarrassed. "Vera, can you help me?" he would ask. Sometimes she helped, but her touch felt rough and impatient. She would sigh loudly when he needed something. She would roll her eyes when he couldn't do things by himself. "I can't do everything for you," she would snap. "I'm not your nurse." That night, Stella made a phone call when she thought Desmond was sleeping. But he heard every word. "Yes, I can meet you tomorrow," she whispered. "Bring the bag. Make sure it has enough space for everything valuable." Desmond's blood turned cold. She was planning to steal from him. The next morning, Stella was extra nice. She made his favorite breakfast. She smiled and laughed at his jokes. She even gave him a kiss on the forehead. "I have to go shopping," she said sweetly. "I'll be back this evening." But evening came and went. Stella didn't come back. Desmond waited in his wheelchair by the window. He watched the sun go down. He watched the streetlights come on. Still no Vera. He called her phone. It went straight to voicemail. He called again and again. Then he got a message: "This number is no longer in service." That's when Desmond knew. Vera was gone forever. He wheeled himself to their bedroom. Her clothes were gone. Her perfume bottles were gone. The jewelry box was empty. Even the cash he kept in the safe was missing. Desmond sat alone in the big, empty house. The silence was so loud it hurt his ears. Outside, the rain started falling again, just like on the day of his accident. For the first time since he was a little boy, Desmond cried until no more tears would come. Kira heard the terrible news while she was far away singing for fans. Desmond was hurt badly. His legs could not move anymore. The woman who said she loved him ran away when things got hard. Even though her heart was still broken from how he treated her, Kira could not stay away. She flew on a big airplane back home. Her hands shook as she walked up to the huge house where they used to be so happy together. The house felt empty and cold. Dust covered everything. No lights were on. "Desmond," she called out. Her voice bounced off the walls like an echo in a cave. Then she saw him. The strong man who used to dance with her was on the floor. His wheelchair was too far away. He looked so thin and weak. His clothes hung loose on his body like they were too big. Dark circles sat under his eyes like purple bruises. "I can't reach it," he said in a small voice. Tears ran down his cheeks like tiny rivers. Kira's heart hurt seeing him like this. But she remembered how he chose someone else over her. Her voice came out cold as ice. "Where is your perfect maid now?" She helped him into his wheelchair anyway. Her hands were gentle even though her words were sharp. "She left me," Desmond whispered. "When I lost my money and couldn't walk, she took what she could and disappeared like smoke." Kira looked around the messy house. Empty food boxes were everywhere. The man who once had everything now had almost nothing. "I'm sorry, Kira," he said, more tears falling. Kira shook her head. The hurt was still too fresh. "You had something beautiful with me. You threw it away for lies and fake smiles." She started walking toward the door. Her high heels clicked on the empty floor like a sad song. But then she stopped. Her heart, even though it was angry, could not let her leave him alone like this. She turned around. "When is your family coming?" "My mom wants to come next week," Desmond said. "But I told her not to. I don't want anyone to see me like this." Kira took a deep breath. "I can't leave you here alone." So she stayed. Not because she loved him anymore, but because it was the right thing to do. When Mrs. Kate finally came to visit, she gasped seeing Kira there. "You came back. After everything I did." The older woman's eyes filled with tears. "I'm so sorry, my dear. I destroyed something beautiful because I was foolish. I pushed away the woman who truly loved my son." Mrs. Kate got on her knees and begged Kira to forgive her. That woman was evil. She only wanted money. "You stayed when he had nothing. You are the angel he needed." One day, Desmond stood up from his wheelchair. Kira was so happy she almost kissed him. But she stopped herself. Her heart was healing, but not ready yet. "Please take me back," Desmond begged every day. "I learned my lesson. True love is not about perfect cooking or what other people think. It's about staying when things get hard." A whole year went by. Desmond's business slowly got better. His legs grew strong again. But most important, he proved every single day that he had changed. Finally, Kira's heart opened like a flower in spring. "Okay," she whispered. "Let's try again." They had a small, beautiful wedding. Only people who truly loved them came. As they danced, Mrs. Kate cried happy tears, remembering how she almost destroyed their love.